it's going to be an interesting race. I had the pleasure of hearing our next speaker, and our final speaker for today, in Flagstaff just a couple weeks ago, where it rained, and at an appropriate time there was a big thunder blast. So I don't know if that was what that was trying to say, but it was right on cue. So at this point, I would like to welcome J.D. Hayworth, and you'll have plenty of time to ask him all the questions you want to ask. So J.D.
Carol, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you honor me with your attendance here today. And as we have seen, there is no shortage of talent in our party and people willing to step forward and serve. And I thank our friends who are working hard to serve in the state legislature. And we have any number of challenging decisions to make. Now, those of you who have heard me before, and I hear almost a knowing peal of laughter from that, you know that I made this request, and I want to do it again, especially at this gathering. If you have worn the uniform of our military, either in wartime or in peacetime, would you please stand and be recognized by our assembly today? Thank you all very much for your service. And the second question is again to it. If you currently have a loved one serving our nation in the military, whether stationed stateside or in some far-flung posting around the world, or yes, even in a combat zone, or if you have a loved one who has just recently completed a tour of duty and is a newly minted veteran, would you please stand? Those with loved ones currently serving us in the military. Thank you so very much. Fellow citizens, you hear time and again that 2010 is a different type of election year. Let me demonstrate how different a year it is. Even in a situation where you cannot turn on the television and not hear some disparaging word about your speaker this afternoon. Let me begin with the very real recognition that were my opponent with us this afternoon, he could have stood at both requests. A new generation of McCains has stepped forward to serve in our military, and we are all grateful for that. And I am confident that there is not a single person among us who is not aware and who does not appreciate the service and sacrifice of our senior senator. But it is precisely because so many of you have stepped forward, and it is precisely because of that service that men and women are willing to step forward and defend our way of life, that in this year of 2010, we have the opportunity once again to determine who is best equipped to represent us in the United States Senate. Yes, I am honored with my A rating from the National Rifle Association. Yes, I too believe in the Second Amendment, but I give thanks that in our republic, we settle questions of public policy through a political process with ballots instead of bullets. And so we will have that opportunity, beginning with early voting July 29th, and with the primary day, if you choose to go down, the traditionalist in me always loves to go into the polling place on Tuesday, August 24th. Miss Mary sends her regards and regrets today. She had hoped to be able to make it up the hill, but there's so much going on with the campaign, and truth be told, so much happening at the Hayworth Hacienda that she had to remain down the hill. Many of you have met Miss Mary, my sweet and petite diminutive dynamo, and We're a real-life production of Her Beauty and Me as the Beast. But I will tell you, Mary, I guess we could call her a doctrinaire Republican. She has a very Reagan-esque approach to childbearing. So much time has passed, and many of us have been friends for so long. You may remember the first day that our party really took control of the United States House of Representatives in January of 1995, the first time in my lifetime that we controlled the House, and I was honored to be sworn in on that day. And I had with me a little guy who at that point in time was 13 months old. That would be the baby of our bunch, John Micah Hayworth. I can report to you today that he is now 16 years old, and he is driving, so I offer that as a traffic advisory. But Mary says, with our kids, you have to take the approach of President Reagan when it came to national security and foreign policy. Trust, but verify. So she is down the hill today. Friends, I have to tell you, and please forgive me this personal glimpse, because it's really not about me, it's about we as a people and where we're headed. But I must tell you, if you ever want to garner attention, politically and otherwise, good and bad, just challenge the presidential nominee of your party 2 years after that candidate has been our standard bearer. It has been remarkable to see all the interest, not only throughout the country and obviously here in Arizona, but also internationally. For example, we were down a couple of months ago, and forgive me for this turn of alliterative phrase, but as a broadcaster I cannot help it. We were in the tiny town of Tonopah 2 months ago. And it was the darndest thing. On a Saturday afternoon, we had a town hall, and over 200 people showed up. And it was just a great session. And in addition to the townspeople of Tonopah, a television crew joined us. A television crew from a network bearing the initials NHK. N as in Nippon. Japanese television came to visit. And then a couple of weeks after that, and given the vagaries of Arizona geography and the way we name places, wouldn't you know, the city of Maricopa is located across the county line from Maricopa County in Pinal County. It just goes to figure. So we crossed the county line to go over to Maricopa, and there was a great Sunday afternoon tea party event. Again, hundreds of people in attendance, and also in attendance, a television crew from the Netherlands. Dutch television joined us. And yet another occasion, and Leona, I think you were in attendance, I believe it was Palo Verde women, right? In Scottsdale. And Miss Mary and I were over there, not too far from the house. And in attendance that day, one of our British cousins, I believe writing for the Daily Telegraph, who described your speaker this afternoon thusly. And I quote, he wrote, "Hayworth, the candidate of broad shoulders, excellent vocal projection, and Trump-like hair." Now, fellow citizens, you will note there are no Velcro attachments to these strands, nor is there any type of turban-esque coiffure here. And a quick check at the bank account would indicate it is bereft the many millions that the Donald may have. But we certainly appreciate the insouciance of our British cousin. Actually, all kidding aside, there is something to be noted about the international coverage we received. And it is this. The international journalists who cared to come and try to understand our political process have a much better understanding of what you and I believe to be at stake than those so-called journalists who populate the newsrooms in New York City and Washington, D.C. and come out here as if it is a curiosity and so often think of Arizona as so much flyover country. No, those who come from beyond our shores